Damn, it is cold. We finally made our way to the Northlands. And I tell you, that last week in the castle, floating in the air above the Northlands, was not a fun time. First, a dragon came and visited us, carrying dwarves from Mirabar. And apparently there had been cloud giant attacks all along the Northlands. Cloud giants dropping great rocks from great heights, causing havoc. So, the Lord's Alliance had instituted a policy of grounding floating castles. And by grounding, I mean destroying the magic orb that kept the castles in the air. So, when these fellas get dropped off at the castle, and the dragon takes off to deal with Zephyros, we did not take kindly to their actions. At first they were very shifty, saying that their argument was not with us. So they said, "Step aside," and we did not. So they all took potions that turned them into gas. I farted in their gas, just for insult. I called them race traders. It was delicious, because these dwarves, they were from Mirabar. Soft, milk-white hands. Never seen a day of work. Well, except for counting their gold. Anyways, they came up to the chamber with the magic orb that held the castle in the sky, and were about to try and destroy it, and we followed them. And by dint of insult and appeal to their dwarven honor, we managed to convince them to listen to us. So we told them the story of the Night Stone and how we had rescued the village, and how Zephyros was actually an agent of good, and how he was just there giving us a lift to Bryn Shander. And they believed us. So we averted a great tragedy, because if they had destroyed the magical orb that was held in the castle, holding up the castle in the sky, then they had a way of escaping. They had a dragon for price sakes, and we had nothing. So I would assume that we would have plummeted to our deaths in the castle. Oh man, it's cold. So that was that. Disaster averted. And then a few days before we were to be dropped off, we had an attacker by a small pod of manticores, 4 of them. And they were nasty pieces of work. They have tail spines that they shoot like porcupines, like porcupines. Stuck a few of us pretty good. And we killed them all. One of them actually made it so far as to breach the castle defenses, made it into the castle. Apparently it took quite a liking to Aurel, the elven lady. And it's not surprising. It doesn't look like she's very, very tough. She's probably the elven equivalent of veal. Not very physical. Anyways, I digress. It charged her, saying, "I'm going to eat you," and then we killed it. So that was that. So Zephyros dropped us off about a day away from Bryn Shander. We couldn't get closer because otherwise they would probably organize a defense and try and take down the castle, being prudent and paranoid after having word of several cloud giant attacks. So there we were. Uh, we took uh, we took the road to Brinchander. We had to leave our cart behind because, well, a cart without horses in the snow doesn't move very well. So we found a place to hide it, and not too far away from where we were dropped off, we found the remains of uh, a party of human knights. It looked like, maybe not so human, but they were brutalized, slaughtered, and we went to investigate. I went forward to see if it was a trap, and that's when I saw the first body. I moved towards it. Others of the party moved towards it faster, and that's when the abominable snowmen attacked. They were very big. They were very vicious. A couple of us really almost met the final death. But after a very hairy fight, we slew them, 4 of them. And we were very lucky to live through that. We found one survivor. Her name, Gita Sven's daughter. And apparently all of her companions and she were disciples of the god Helm, and were on their way to a newly unearthed temple of Helm in the northwest, and they were to be relieving another group of Helm disciples. So she was very distraught at the death of her comrades. But waste not, want not. I got a new spear, a magic spear. Glows in the dark. This is very, very nice. Korok got an enchanted hand axe, and I think Oratari got a magic shield. So their loss was our benefit, apparently. It was meant to be. Anyhow, we decided to heed Gita's request for help, and off to the Temple of Helm we went. And it was just a day's journey, a little bit out of the way from Bryn Shander, but it was in a good cause. So there we went into the Temple of Helm, newly discovered after the earth had moved, the glacier had moved, the glacier had melted, something like that. But the entrance was newly unearthed. We went in and were promptly attacked. I and a few of the others were outlined in glowing light, as if to say, shoot this one here, or attack this one. And that's when we heard the music. I hate bards. But apparently a few of us like music a lot, because once the bard played a certain chord, I know it didn't please the Lord, but it certainly held a couple of us in place. Let's see, there were cultists, I suppose, armed with arrows. A few bards that were singing songs of dirge and woe to cause our doom. We killed them all. And quite frankly, I was glad, because I'm not a music critic, but man, I didn't like the songs that were playing. So, anyhow, that's where we're at. We're stuck. Um, Not stuck. Uh, we're just at the beginning of a chamber to the entrance of the Temple of Helm. We're not sure if there's more to come or if we're done. Gita really didn't say anything. We're waiting for her to recover from some ghastly wounds that she suffered in the middle of the battle. Anyways, I'm going to stop here because it is but freezing cold, and I'm going to go by the fire.